guys, it's the AwesomeCast coming to you live here from Pittsburgh, PA. It is the Christmas episode. Woo! Dow's been ready for it all year, apparently. I don't know how long that hat's been on that owl. No idea if you're on video. I'm Mike Sorg here in the again in the studio in Pittsburgh, PA. Already have myself a cup of holiday cheer, ready to do this again as we usually do before we take the hiatus before the holidays. With me on his annual trip back to join us here in the studio, Rob De La Creta is on the couch. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi. Alone on the couch.
I am alone on the couch. I'm really terribly sad that Chachi is sick.
Yes.
Because I really wanted to touch him appropriately during the entire episode, but I'm just gonna have to live without that, I guess.
Missed opportunities.
And I've got my headphone situation here.
Yeah, we might have an unbalanced
Left 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right, 1 and 2. Actually, 1/2 and actually 1/4 and 1/4, because eventually together they all make one stereo feed. Right? Progress. Every time I visit, I only visit once a year, and every time I visit, you're slightly ahead of 1983.
Slightly, thanks. At least I, for the most part, still running all LCDs here, except for that one behind me. Is that? But I kind of could leave that there for like as an homage to the
Sure.
day.
Yeah, that's
you know,
what
and
you
I
tell
kind
the
of like,
ladies.
and I kind of like the flickery look it does on the camera.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
I love the putt noise that a steam engine makes too. You know.
it's nostalgia, right? Nostalgia. Joining. Excuse me. Then joining us from Boston, Massachusetts. It's Jim Lokay.
Why did I wave like that?
I don't know. Is that how you greet everybody on your when you're on the desk?
It's like I've never seen myself on camera before. Hey.
I don't know. Wait, are you the morning shift? Is that how you greet them in the morning?
Yeah, we try to do hand gestures just to make sure if people aren't awake, they know what's going on.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
You know, I was just in Boston, actually.
Thanks for calling.
First time caller. I was in Boston for the women's conference last week.
Oh, you know what? Oh no, I'm thinking of another conference. No, but I was here.
I assume you were there.
Awesome. And also joining us from a little bit closer is Norm Huelsman from over there, iTwixie.com, at Mr. Derby on Twitter. How you doing, Norm?
I'm doing great. I don't have to motion activate my Skype, so it's all good.
Awesome. And also joining us from a little closer, just kind of a borough over, is John Chichilla at Chilla on the Twitters. How you doing?
How's it going?
You're the closest, yet I put you on the computer that makes you look the most pixely. So we can just say you're coming to us from Australia, just to make just to make it a little better. And I've been playing with a little bit. Maybe we'll open up a little bit. Alex Cars, who joins us often. Oh no, it's not working at all. There it is. Playing with the Hangouts. I think we're going to get more use out of it on the Mayhem show, but we'll see how many pop in. Maybe we'll at least get predictions from anybody that pops in there. So if you're joining us live at live.sorgatronmedia.com, please check out. If you're in my circles, I'm not Rob. Working on that. Hi. You can hop in there. You really only have a shot of me at this point. But aside from that, it's a way that we can get some more people to maybe join us, and we're going to try to use it. That's going to be my New Year's resolution, Rob. More Hangout use in the podcast.
Now you know.
Yes.
You know as well as anybody. New Year's resolutions are a terrible idea.
I'm pretty good with New Year's resolutions, though.
Yeah. What was your resolution last year?
To rearrange the studio.
Well, you did that.
I did that.
I don't know if it's. Is it everything you had hoped for?
I set my expectations low.
It's a good place to start.
Yeah. That's the secret.
Right.
That's the secret.
I mean, as long as you actually do them.
I did.
And as long as you don't wait until New Year's.
Look at this. We get to look at each other now, Rob.
It's weird.
We got this situation going on. I get to see all of them. You get to see all of them. This is like we're in a round circle.
Sorg, at some point this evening, I want you to touch Rob's beard because that is pretty. I mean, that's a pretty damn glorious beard.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Of course, this is AwesomeCast where we talk about tech. What's going on here? Oh, he's coming in. He's for the video. There you go.
No, I want Sorg. I want to hand it. I want one of Sorg's meat hooks to touch that thing.
Here you go. Here you go, my hand.
There you go.
There it is. There it is. It'll be more touching as the night goes. I promise that.
Wait till I get my pants off.
Wait till LB and Riz get here. But this is where we like to talk tech. Again, it's the end of the year show, so there's going to be a little bit of a year in review, a little bit of predictions, and we're going to see what everybody predicted last year and how close they got. So we're going to have some fun with that, and everybody that's not here to defend their picks from last year too. So again, you can drop us a line. We're over at AwesomeCast.com. You can find all the episodes and connections, including contact at AwesomeCast.com to email us. On Twitter at AwesomeCast. We're on Facebook. We're on Google Plus and other things. Just look us up
and the website thingy.
And the website thingy is fixed.
Yes.
So what?
The thing you asked me to fix.
Yeah. So it goes to sorgatronmedia.com, and there's a list of our episodes.
Right.
That's all I really ask for. You still get all the connections and everything. Mm-hmm. And we got some guests joining us here in studio. It's the Riz. Riz, say hi to the camera back there. No, they're back there. See that one?
That one right
that one right there. So Riz is joining us from the Mayhem Show. You want to drop in on the couch? You want to join us for AwesomeCast? Sure. There you go.
Let me get my shit out of
there. All right. So let's get right down to it. I do have a couple stories, like a couple big things happened this week. We'll kind of gauge how we want to get into this, and then we'll like I said, we'll get into a little bit of the year in review. Did anybody see Tim Cook on? What was it? I keep want to call it the Rock, but that's another guy. Rock Center. Yeah, I've seen like the clips of what they're talking about, but I didn't actually get to watch the full interview. Did you see it, Jim?
I did. It was interesting because you kind of took the cover off the guy who's been the mythical head of Apple. Obviously, Jobs was never that accessible, but it was interesting to see Tim Cook open up a little bit. Brian Williams is a bit of an Apple fanboy, as he kind of evidenced a little bit during the interview. I still think Tim Cook's getting his bearings. I think he's picking up where Steve Jobs left off. And I think the one thing that he said that really struck me the most interesting was the fact that, working in TV myself, he said, he surrounds himself with all this technology, but then when he goes home, he turns the TV on and it's like he sets himself back 20, 30 years, which to me says, they're still serious about this whole amping up the Apple TV production and research and development.
Yeah, so there's some serious talk about it, which kind of goes to Rob's prediction for last year. Hey, you called Apple TV in 2012.
I did.
You did.
I did. I mean, it's not happening in 2012.
No, but it's more of a reality now.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say more of the like playing cards are on the table that they are legitimately releasing a set. I don't think anybody's talking about fairy tales when they say that Apple should be releasing a set-top television.
This iPhone, as a matter of fact, the engine in here is made in America. Yeah. And not only are the engines in here made in America, but engines...
It was funny because there was something in there where was some quotes from him that were apparently, I guess somebody picked up on The Verge exactly what he said 6 months ago. So nothing really new. It's just a new audience. It seems with this interview.
When did Steve pass?
Over a year ago.
Over a year ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I think in the summer, right?
Huh.
Hold on.
Like late.
Somebody break out the wiki. Hold on.
October 5th, 2011.
October.
So a little more than a year.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
Can we talk just very briefly? The most disturbing thing about the whole passing of Steve Jobs is the fact that Ashton Kutcher's playing him in the movie.
Yeah, and the first pictures have started surfacing too. So
yeah, it's going to debut at the Sundance Film Festival next month.
I mean, he kind of has a look to it of the young Steve Jobs. I'll give him that, but
he's still Ashton Kutcher.
He's still Ashton Kutcher. That's the problem. He's Ashton Kutcher.
You kind of say the same thing
from
about
Dude, Where's My Car to playing Steve Jobs. That's the irony.
He went from Dude, Where's My Car to Nikon commercials to playing Steve Jobs.
He's the tech head. He's the punked. The punked. Anyways, so I don't know. I thought that was interesting that bit, and sorry, I have more knobbies than I usually have because of everything in here. Let's see what else is going on here. T-Mobile. Again, we have a video that was submitted to us. I'm not going to play it here during the show. I'm going to put it at the end for anybody interested. But AJ sent us a 7-minute video about the T-Mobile move.
This is a record for video sent to us, absolutely.
For sent to this show, yes. So there's that. And he also then sent a follow-up So remember this when I think I'm just going to slap it at the end of the show here for you guys that want to listen to it. He had some corrections. An iPod Touch is $299. iPhone would be $500 to $550 range. Nexus 4 at $349 versus iPhone 5 at $649. Price difference over the life of T-Mobile contract is not $500, it's $300. So basically what happened was T-Mobile came out last week, I think it was, and said that they're going to do away with subsidies. So you don't pay $200 for that iPhone 5. You're going to pay $550, whatever it might be. Actually, I think he's talking an iPhone. He's talking iPhone 5 is $649 in this case. So what they're going to do apparently is going to be you put like $100 down, and then you can do like a installment plan along with your bill. But instead of your bill being subsidized and higher, you're going to have a value version of your bill.
Is there just like a flat payment of like everybody does 50 or something like that?
I don't know. Well, they have all these unlimited plans and everything, so I think it's just whatever they have now is probably just going to be knocked down a little bit.
It's like a very small used car.
Well, I think I had that with Verizon in the late 90s, and I had that with T-Mobile in, I think, 2005. They companies have already done this.
Well, they've done that, but they're not doing subsidies at all. Like, you don't have a choice to buy a subsidized phone from the looks of things.
Right, but now you're locked into a contract.
Yeah, but apparently
pretty much all they're doing is making it look like their phone plan is more expensive than everyone else's.
Okay.
Unless they're going to offer whatever Verizon offers for $50 a month, they're offering it for $35, and then your $15 goes towards the non-subsidized phone. Or you look at it as you're taking a loan against and paying. You may end up paying more than the subsidized phone.
And it all depends on how they market this in the end, too, right?
Right.
I mean, is it really gonna look much different than they're saying, oh, our plans are only this much and this much, but you go and for however long it takes you to pay off that Nexus or iPhone or whatever it is that you're getting through them, it ends up pretty much being the same bill. But the thing is, when you have paid it off, you're done. That's it, and you do have a cheaper bid.
Or are they going after a market where they're trying to get you to bring your own phone? The thing I find interesting about T-Mobile is every time I walk by their storefront now, there's all these signs out front sitting in the middle of the street and on the windows that say, bring your own unlocked phone and throw it on our network and we'll give you a discount.
Yeah, they're becoming like this interesting utility company. That is like, we just have the service, bring your own. We can't get the deal with iPhone, which apparently they are getting the deal with iPhone. But they might be getting it. They might also be getting it because they don't have a subsidy to try to negotiate with them.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that might be what it is in the long run.
And one thing that T-Mobile has that's in the offing, they had that attempted merger with AT&T, which obviously didn't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
They are currently dealing with the Department of Justice and trying to buy Metro PCS, which they're somewhat substantial up here in the Boston area. Metro PCS, their selling point is you get an Android phone, $35-$40 a month for everything. And they're obviously one of those value carriers where I don't know what kind of network they use, but they certainly cater to the people that if you can't get a contract with AT&T, they want you to put down that deposit. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with the whole pricing model, how they're going to reconcile the two if that merger goes through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's probably a huge secondary market out there for everyone's 3 or 4 year old smartphones that are just sitting around doing nothing, and they own a bunch of them, or they're aware of that fact. And so think about it, everyone wants the free phone. I think of most non-techie people, they always go for like the cheaper phone or the freer phone. So if they can get, you're right, it comes down to the advertising. If they can get say, oh yeah, go to your local phone reseller and buy an iPhone 3, and then we're going to support it on our network, and you're going to have this great iPhone, and Apple won't support it, but we'll support it. So that could be the market too.
Or does anyone know how cell phone carriers deal with leftover stock? Because one of my questions that I really can't get answered by the cell phone companies are, when Samsung says they sold X billion or X million or whatever Samsung Galaxy 3 devices, that doesn't mean that the public actually bought them. That means that Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, Metro PCS, Cricket, whoever, purchased these devices. So when the devices left on the shelf that no one purchased, like what was the old Microsoft? It was the very small phone. I can't remember what it was called.
The Kin.
Yeah. The Kin. So what happened to all the Kins? Did Microsoft buy them back?
They're in a landfill right beside the ET game.
I think, John, if I'm not mistaken, obviously, I mean, that's a big write-off for the companies. First of all, it doesn't matter. They could say they sell $3 billion. I mean, the way that the whole tax system works is, they could take a loss on it and not think twice. You see them dumped upon those lower tier carriers. You certainly see that where Walmart, that Smart Talk, they're advertising, hey, you can get the Samsung Galaxy 2 through us now, and they're running an ad campaign based upon that. So I think you're gonna take them to other countries where maybe the cell system isn't built up so much, and you sell it as new. But I think these companies don't bat an eye. I mean, Microsoft, yeah, they took a bath with the Kin, but somewhere along the line, they're going to make up for it in their bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, they're no stranger to that. Look at how much the Xbox was just a pure loss for how many years, and now they're going way above and beyond between all the media, between all the games that they've sold, all the consoles they've sold. I mean, they are it right now. So that risk they took with the Xbox One that probably didn't put them get them out of the red is completely paying off. How many years later with an Xbox 360? I mean, who all just picked up Black Ops 2. There you go. There's Riz over there. Yep, there he is. I mean, that they broke records with that. So, and most of them were Xboxes. So. All right.
Hey, Sorg.
Hey.
Chat room can't hear anything.
Chat room can't hear anything.
That's what I'm hearing. It said it's super quiet.
Yeah, it's super quiet.
I was doing the super quiet thing again, huh?
Yeah, I'm getting messages from people trying to listen and they can't.
Wait, no, they.
Hold on. Okay.
Well, Mr. Derby.
Yeah, he's right here. Okay.
He's there.
There he is.
We hear their problem. We hear their pain.
Oh, I see. We didn't fix the issue.
It's still broken.
It should be out now. Guys, let me know. I want to keep an eye on the chat room a little bit more. All right. Hold on. Let me watch your headphones there, Rob. I might be blowing you out there. Test 1, 2. There we go. We just need to talk a little bit louder.
Okay.
So.
Oh,
Sorry. I feel like you were executed.
That was in the air. Anyways, what are we doing next? We don't need to talk about Yahoo getting updated, do we?
Yahoo? What did they do?
Yahoo Mail.
Yahoo Mail?
They updated all their interfaces, and I think it's completely ridiculous.
Okay, have you seen them? Or I haven't seen these.
There's pictures on their website, and pretty much they're making their interface look like a cross between Google and Outlook, and I'm tired of hearing about everyone's new interface that looks exactly like everyone else's.
Yahoo's my junk mail account.
Isn't it everybody's junk mail account?
I think that's what it is now.
Yeah. Well,
I forgot I had a Yahoo account, and I logged into it. About 2 months ago for the first time, and I somewhere along the line, when you get those receipts and you get like a survey, it's like fill out this survey and enter to win $100 or something like that. I apparently missed out because about 2 years ago, I put that email address down and I missed out on like $100 gift card to Panera Bread or something. So it pays to check your junk email account once in a while.
There you go. That's about it. That's all the big stuff I had really kind of lined up here. So let's look back. 2012, year in review. What was the big deal?
Big deal.
What was the big deal in 2012, sir?
I would say the big deal in 2012 was Apple taking shape and making all of those decisions and moves that people said that Apple would never do until Steve Jobs was dead.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like everything that.
Turn that a little more towards you. I think we're losing you a little bit too. No. Like put it so like the mustache is more this way. And it's kind of just kind of twist. Just kind of twist it a little bit.
Hey, twist your facial hair.
I'm gonna like so squared out there. Oh yeah, there you go.
Is
that better?
Oh, is that better?
There you are.
Right. Double-sided.
I hear you so much better now.
Transducer condenser.
That might have been helping a little bit.
Condenser.
Condenser.
Too many big words are going on in my head.
Condenser.
Bulk bag. Yeah, so things like the iPad Mini that I know I'm recorded on this podcast of saying that like that'll never happen until Steve Jobs is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that happened. And I think if you take a look at all of the decisions that Apple has been making over the last year, they are notably like off key for what we were used to. It is becoming very apparent that Tim Cook is running the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, how many things like we had? I mean, it seems like they might be scaling back a little bit on the patent issues on this thermonuclear war. I mean, what else? Sorry, brain fart. Sorry. That was the second time today.
Yeah, I think the form factor and size of the iPhone, I don't think Jobs would have moved in that realm.
You think the whole screen change might have been an issue? I think the screen change is,
and as an owner, it's okay. I don't see it as necessary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're going ahead with the TV, obviously.
Yeah, it's also very possible that the TV thing is something that would have been quieted for quite a bit longer because
that's true.
While like I can see the what Tim Cook said about like you turn on your TV and you feel like you've been stuck in an episode of Back to the Future. There is still like, will Macs ever have Blu-ray? No, because we don't feel that there is a market for it. We don't feel that people actually want it.
Which I feel like the Tim Cook thing is still along that line.
Yeah, it is definitely.
There hasn't been much change there.
Yeah, it's definitely along that line, but to the same token, I feel like for an Apple TV set-top TV thing, I don't know if people were ready for that. I still, as much as I really want to push the like, cut the cord, use the internet, it's the future. Your Comcast digital feed or whatever is still like real janky compared to what it could be. All of those publisher relationships and all that stuff don't exist yet. They're still inherently broken. So I mean, it might mean that Apple's in a position to make one of those large moves wherein everybody else sort of follows. Where they just basically tell the industry what to do because they make a big decision.
And that could be the TV.
And that could be the TV, wherein the Apple TV comes out and it doesn't suck as much as the little tiny brick thing. Not to say the little tiny brick thing is bad, but it's not great. It's not them pushing any boundaries.
Does it feel like it feels like Apple's settling in?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the iPhone 5 was fine enough, but I didn't feel like I really needed to upgrade, as opposed to going from like a 3G to 3G, a 3G to 3GS or 4 to 4S. There wasn't anything that was real breakthrough. We had this weird kind of, hey, here's the iPad 4. What?
Yeah, that whole thing was really
That was weird. I don't think that would have happened under Steve Jobs.
Yeah, I agree. That whole thing, it felt like sloppy is what it felt.
Well,
in the way that so the release of every large version number is supposed to be a big deal.
Yeah, but you notice there's no numbers anymore.
Right. Well,
again,
technically there have never been numbers. This is an iPhone. Everything before it, well, the iPad mostly, but this on the back is an iPhone, not an iPhone 5.
That's true. The box says.
I think the 3GS.
Yeah, they marketed it that as such.
Yeah. But it's always the current model is just the model, and all previous models are the numbered models.
Okay.
Yeah, unless it's an S, and then it gets.
So they're kind of getting more away from that.
Like the current iPad has always been the iPad, and then everything before it is whatever that number is.
That's when we start getting into what generation, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Oh, then that's when you have to be like, oh, this is a summer 2011 MacBook.
Right. Or like.
Which actually, that's a lot easier than most other PCs are. Like getting one of these old machines that I.
It's not an A6
like,
4C.
All right, it's compact. It's an Evo. I have no other markings to tell me what's inside this thing.
Right.
Give me, where do I start with my drivers? Versus, the Mac is pretty.
Yeah. But I feel like with the whole iPad 4 thing, when they announced the iPad 4, nobody was really calling it. Nobody was like, oh yeah, this is totally going to happen. They're going to push out another iPad that's faster. At the same time that they push out an iPad that's smaller and the same spec as the iPad you saw this time 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, that was just kind of... Nobody was like, wow, this is amazing. This is, like, cutting edge. People were like, that's
a
weird.
thing.
Yeah, that just happened. I feel weird now.
Which I think is more of a marketing response, which is, for the first time, it seems like that Apple's responding to the market rather than driving it, because the best I could think of is the Mini is competing with Kindle Fire because they're losing market share in that direction.
Yeah.
but the price point is still so much higher. I thought for sure that the price point of the Mini was going to be spot on with the Fire and just let people who are going to get in them devices have an easier entry into Apple devices.
Or is it that Cook's a huge supply chain person, and while the iPad 4 wasn't any major feat or technology, now they're not potentially producing as many of the older charge connectors, and everything has, what is it, the new lightning bolt connector.
Mm-hmm.
Like I look at Cook, and he's always been trying to streamline their delivery, which I think he's actually done a worse job this year than ever with meeting supply and demand.
So it seems like,
but why would I continue to create, if I have to create a new connector for a new phone and a Mini, why am I still going to try to create a slew of these connectors for the iPad over at least the next 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
They can taper off that supply chain and potentially even leverage existing stock, or tell you, you know what, go over to this third party and use theirs.
And you and John, what really struck me, I was one of the idiots that I decided at the last minute I wasn't going to get I swore that I was not going to buy the 5. And then somebody tipped me off. I was in Pittsburgh the day it came out. I knew somebody who was going to wait in line. They said, "Oh, there's no line," and I couldn't believe it. I went over, and it was 11 o'clock in the morning. There were 8 people ahead of us. That was it. So I said, "Well, screw it. I'm going to buy the damn phone now." So I got the phone, but what struck me was on day one, unlike the 4, when the 4 came out, you had the bumpers.
Mm-hmm.
You had some sort of accessory to buy with it. The Apple stores had absolutely nothing.
Not even the adapter.
Not even the adapter. I mean, I think I went to Target that day, and I was able to buy a case at Target, but not at the Apple store. And that, to me, I'm surprised that nobody really made a huge deal about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the different adapters were, I think there was some rumblings about them, but it surprised me. I didn't order the iPhone 5 on launch day, but I knew I was buying it, and I heard all of the complaints about the connectors. I ordered the USB full adapter and one of the 30-pin to converters. Spent an additional, $60 on adapters. I now have adapters 3 weeks. So then a week later, I go out and order the phone. The phone ends up being delayed 6 weeks. So now I have adapters that I have no phone for. I mean, it was ridiculous. And it's just, I think last week they're finally meeting iPhone 5 demand.
But that's always been the way. And of course, they're expanding into how many new markets at this point?
And that's what else. And we talk about this carrier and that carrier and bring your phone between them. I mean, overseas, you can see on Apple's website, now it's, okay, if you're in the United States and you're using Verizon, you have to buy this phone, or AT&T, you have to buy this phone. And if you're overseas, now you have to buy this phone or this phone or this phone. And you see it in the United States too. You used to be able to take your AT&T phone if it was unlocked, take it to T-Mobile, take it overseas, and it mainly has to do with LTE. But the way they're expanding into markets, they're having to create additional actual chipsets within the phone, which could be a supply issue as well. I can't answer that question. I was amazed. I was talking to someone at Verizon, and they said, yeah, in fact, Apple has requested, they're actually pulling all of their iPad 3s back. So Apple somehow had control, and I don't know if it's because they want to sell them at Apple or what, but Apple came in and said, any existing devices you have in stock, ship them back because we're taking them back.
Huh. Wow. Cool. You want to make sure that you're stocked first, right? I mean, doesn't that make you look bad if your Apple can't sell it out and you pick it up at Target?
Right.
I mean, for the guys that control everything, control their experience, control their store.
No, it wasn't the new iPad. It was the iPad, whatever you want to call it, Gen 3, whatever.
Yeah.
They were pulling that stock back.
That's weird, because then what do you do with them? Refurbs, parts?
Well, they sell them.
Yeah. Well, they do refurbs.
Yeah, and they do refurbs for everybody.
But you can't buy a 3rd gen on their website otherwise unless it's a refurb.
Right, but if you come in with a broken 3 and you're still under Apple Care, they give you a new one.
So they just pretty much bump them for parts.
So they take that hit instead of trying to give you an iPad 4.
Yeah, say at least we have a stock of parts.
Yeah, so I mean, it could just be the supply chain was so tight that they ran out of spares.
That could be.
And I know the whole adapter nonsense was largely because this was the first time that all third-party suppliers had to go through rigorous training by Apple technicians, and like basically, Apple would go to your factory where you're hypothetically going to produce these connectors. Your electrical engineers have to be trained by Apple engineers on how to make this happen correctly, and then after you produce your first run, you can't sell it. Apple has to come back to your factory and approve that run before they'll let you market any of it.
And this was the first kind of major change to an adapter like that. I mean, how many of us are sitting here like, I have how many adapters lying around my house because I've had how many iPods and iPhones and
but how many years has that adapter existed?
Exactly. So this is the first major shift that's happened, and it's well after that this thing has grown so big that so many people were providing things with docks and adapters for this thing. So this is a major shift, and now we see how they handle a major shift like this.
Yeah, and realistically, it had to happen at some point. When you look at the new adapter compared to the old adapter, like the old adapter seems like the horse and buggy of plug heads.
Yeah.
Like it's this huge crazy thing. And if you look at the schematics for the new plug heads, to get super nerdy, it dynamically assigns the function of all the pins. That's how it does all the things it does in such a small place. So you plug it in, and depending on whether you're plugging it into a sound dock or into your computer or into a charger, it dynamically assigns what pins do what. And if you try and trace out the pins, they're all conductive with each other, which makes no sense, which is why they're so hard to make and why they're so
There's
hard to find.
There's a chip in there. I think one thing is a custom chip in there.
Yeah, there's a custom chip in there. There's a custom chip in the old ones, too, but that was much easier to suss out because it was just pin to pin, and we could figure that out.
So this one's a little harder to
This one's made of magic and ponies. It's ridiculous.
I understood that one.
Riz is catching up.
I got it now.
So speaking of Apple and everything, I mean, I want to become the Apple show. I don't know what they've done this year, but I'm sure we'll get back to them a few times. What do we think? Last year we were talking about how the competition in the tablets really kind of stepped up. What do you think about how things have been going this year? We have a lot more with Amazon Fire. Kindle Fire being updated, being more substantial. We had, I think, the Nexus tablets were a pretty big jump as far as Android being, kind of more of a player in this kind of game. And then all the other kind of random tablets that have popped up. We have, Windows making a play. What do you guys think about the future of touch here, and what's happened in this past year?
I'm surprised that it took all year for the surge to catch on.
Yeah,
you see it as recent. Kindle has the new Fire HD. Microsoft has the Surface. It's pretty much everyone's sat. There's the new Nexus device. Everyone's sat on the tablet market for the beginning of the year. It seems I didn't see. I mean, you had some updates to the Samsung Galaxy Tab 7 or something like that, but there was no real expansion in the market until you hit closer to Christmas, which I think, especially in the Microsoft scenario, they could have used a mid-year launch, because now all I see in every TV show I watch is it's a 30-minute or 23-minute Surface commercial, which is, I think, ridiculous.
You got to click in, man. You just
please buy our stuff.
They've been everywhere. Yeah.
And then not only is the 23 minutes of the sitcom I'm watching a Surface commercial, then the first and last commercial is a plug by Gwen Stefani or Will Arnett or whomever trying to sell me the Surface or Windows Phone that I just saw throughout the entire episode. And then you have the whole thing with Oprah tweets it's one of her favorite things from her iPad.
I heard I saw that.
Yeah, I find the Surface to be, and I'm an owner. I'm not going to lie, I own one, but I don't see it being there yet. And I think they wanted to sell 5 million of these things, which Apple can sell 3 million in a weekend. They wanted to sell 5 million in 2 to 3 months. And now the street's saying, though, they're lucky if they hit 500,000 to 600,000 devices sold, which to me means sold also means all of the devices they gave to everyone on these sitcoms and whoever else they're trying to get to walk around and be seen with.
Probably a good interpretation, you know. But again, it hasn't really been released everywhere. I want to throw in. He probably has some words on this because I know he's been keeping us updated on the Android side everywhere. I want to make sure you can hear us here since you just popped in. Frank Chenoas at PhotoSwat is in the hangout with us. How you doing, Frank?
Doing okay.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm doing okay. Yourself?
You might be a little bit of delay with the hangout, so we'll kind of roll with that.
Okay.
What do you think? We're just kind of, I don't know, you probably just caught the tail end of what we were talking about here. We're talking about just kind of like what happened with tablets in this past year. What are your thoughts?
Tablets, there was definitely the big shift that people were making the smaller ones. There was definitely the big shift that people were making the smaller ones, which personally, I've said this before on the show. I have a 10-inch for my work tablet and a 7-inch for my personal, and I could never have a 10-inch as my personal, just because the 7-inch is just lighter, it's just more convenient. That we're going to see a lot more development. I don't know, I just much prefer that, so I think that we're going to see a lot more development on that size. Rather than necessarily the big, like, heavy-duty spec ones. Where they're going you're still going to get those where it's 2.0 quad-core processor. Where they're going to be pushing, like, to a 2.0 quad-core processor. And has, 2 gigs of RAM now. The Nexus 10 has 2 gigs of RAM now. You're going to have 3 or even 4 in the next year. And I could definitely see that happening. But the thing about tablets is a lot of the time, they still just feel like big phones. And I don't know. I think that's what all the different manufacturers need to work on getting away from in the next year.
Definitely.
The first time I put my hands on an iPad Mini, I was shocked that it actually felt really so much more natural to use than I was expecting. Because when they first announced it, I was like, "There's no way I'd want a smaller iPad." I like my iPad, it's the screen size for watching videos and stuff. But as soon as I held it and typed anything on it, it was better. So I agree with you in that regard.
Definitely.
Speaking of the Surface, we have a full-fledged Microsoft store in the Prudential Center up here, and I walked through it yesterday, and that was really the first time I had a chance to play with the Surface. I will say this: I think that on the Surface itself, the concept is pretty nice. I mean, I think the keyboard is that although it's $119 just for that cover itself. So I think functionally there's some things that make a lot of sense, but price wise, I think that's the one thing Microsoft really I thought they should have done that. I thought they should have priced themselves in a place where if you're comparing the iPad and the Surface, you might gravitate towards the Surface for that reason, because I think people have it in their minds, and as mentioned before, you release it at this point in the year where people are thinking what they want for Christmas, and that demographic, the college students, the young professionals, they want an iPad. They didn't know what a Surface was. They never had a chance, and they never gave the Surface a chance. So, I think that was a big misstep on their part.
I think I played with Man, they took a chance in general, because what happens with everybody else? We picked up the laptop, as I mentioned before. It's a big change for everything. Windows, you've always had that start menu for the past 15 years, I guess 17 years actually, and now we're handing them this thing where the start button doesn't do what you think it does. But two of Abby's brothers just got new laptops with Windows 8. I played around with them because they're like, "Oh, Frank, look at this," because I'm known as the geek in the family. I don't know where anything is. Yeah, that was my problem.
It's entirely new. Like, it was smoother for me to go from XP to OS X than it is to Windows 8.
It is. The only saving grace was I was able to say, "Hey, when you want apps, it's like the App Store. It's just like what you're doing on your iPhone."
It's not. No, it's not.
It's not. Because I went away for 2 hours to dinner and came back, and she downloaded like all these financial apps. So she got it as far as that goes.
There's apps there.
Okay.
But the first thing I did, I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon, which has the Xbox Smart Screen feature built in, where you see your car on the screen, and then on your computer you can have the map of the track you're on.
Okay.
So I just wanted to put that on there. I couldn't find search. I could not find...
you have to swipe in from the right.
There's like 5 pages of menus I went through, and I could not find search.
And see, I think that's one of the things that they really messed up with in the interface is they build it around touch and then move to, okay, how am I going to let someone use a mouse with this?
Yeah.
So to get the Charms panel, I swipe in from the right.
Oh, is that really what it's called? The Charms panel? That's right. You did.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
they're Charms. We need a Charms panel on my Twixie. Ooh, yeah, I like that.
This all sounds incredibly just filthy. Hey, ladies, want to check out my Charms panel?
I've got a website. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And then they took the web OS theory of I'm going to swipe down from the top to the bottom to close an app. To see my running apps, I swipe in from the left.
Yeah.
But then when you try to do that with a mouse, you can't do that. You can't click and drag.
I couldn't figure out. I was afraid to leave. We were importing photos from her iPhone because she filled the thing, and I couldn't even do a backup on it. Or no, we couldn't update to iOS 6 because she didn't have enough room on her iPhone. And it was one of those I'm afraid to leave the screen because I don't know if it's just going to go away. Because it feels like that iPhone thing where I don't really know if this program's running if I don't see it in front of me. That's where it started losing me. I think there'll be a lot of improvements. I think our Service Pack 1 will come very, very quick, and 2 will hopefully fix a lot of those issues, which I'm sure they're getting plenty of complaints about.
I think mouth noises. I think what's going to happen is everybody's going to get a Windows 8 POS something for Christmas, and they're all going to be really angry, and it's going to be Windows XP all over again.
That's exactly what you mean Vista.
Windows XP, Vista, not so much 7 because people had already learned to tolerate XP. But remember when it was Windows 2000? Windows 98 to 2000, which is pretty much the same thing. Classic.
Yeah,
interface.
but 2000 was more for business.
Everybody had it.
Oh, so you think Windows ME?
ME
for years.
ME. So people, all of these things had extremely similar. At the very least, Grandma what's her face has something broken. Start control panel or start right click my computer properties. Hardware, right? It's all there. It's all in the same place, regardless of which one of those horrible things you were in. It was all in the same place. So, and then XP came out, and everybody made the Play School Tinker Toys metaphor that they thought was adorable because all the buttons are big and red or big and green, and the bottom start bar is big and blue. And then Vista came out, in which everybody agreed was just terrible, even though everything was in the same place.
That was on a functional level.
That was on a functional level.
I shouldn't, my solution to fixing your computer that's stuck in this restore loop is to upgrade it to Windows 7. Yeah, that was how bad it was.
There's a repetitive series that happens here where we had Windows 95, cool, Windows 98, cool, Windows 2000.
Wait. Windows 2nd Edition. That was the epitome right there.
Sure, Windows 2nd Edition.
I got my internet without an extra application.
And then Microsoft says, wait a minute, we're going to fix all this stuff and make it pretty. Windows ME, bad idea. And then Windows XP, oh, hey, it works.
Hey, it was only $50 for me to upgrade to ME.
It's still relatively pretty, and it works, and you can turn off all the pretty stuff if you want to. But ideally, Windows XP, I prefer 2000 over XP or whatever, but that's nerdy nonsense.
But then again, XP was around for so long.
It's still around.
So then we go XP to Vista. Hey, let's try something new. Just like what they did with Windows ME. And then
what does XP even stand for?
Experience. It was the Windows experience.
So
I remember what ME stands for, but
Millennium.
Not to cut you off. You're on such a great roll.
Windows Millennium is what that was. I had a pirated copy of Windows Millennium shipped to me by a friend in the UK who downloaded it for me on his high-speed connection.
That's what happened in 2000.
So we're in. They're like, let's try something new, ME, and it falls flat on its face. Then they do XP, and it doesn't suck, and everybody loves it, and it stands as the foundation of Windows for X years to come. And then they say, let's try something cool again, and they come out with Vista, and it falls flat on its face, and that doesn't turn out too great. And they do Windows 7. Windows 7's good. I think we can all agree that Windows 7 does not suck.
Mm-hmm.
It, like, the drivers for it are consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have any weird bugs. It launches and crashes consistently.
As you expect.
As you would expect. So then,
but with more authority, because the way it pops up that screen, it makes everything go black.
There's so many warnings that come up.
Something's happening.
They've successfully.
Something's happening. I need to deal with this. I need to think about this decision right here because it made everything. It says you concentrate on this.
Yeah.
Right here. Like
they've successfully made it feel like it's your fault when something goes wrong.
Good job, Microsoft.
That's Windows 7. So, Windows 8.
Call of Duty does the same thing for me.
Windows 8 is, hey, let's try something new. Let's make everybody really angry for at least 1.5 product cycles.
But it'll be better. It'll be better so we can catch up with Apple.
Hypothetically. So, Windows 8, they didn't mess with the architecture, which is important. So, it's still Windows 7 underneath.
Yeah. So technologically, nothing's different.
Technologically, it should still not suck. The problem is,
it looks horrible.
90% of the people using it will not have a touchscreen.
Now, wait a minute. Do you hate how your Xbox looks, Riz?
Well, that's the thing. I like my Xbox.
It works on
the Xbox.
Okay.
I agree.
It works on the Xbox, but on the computer, I've seen it in action myself.
Mm-hmm.
No. It looks
on an
cluttered.
Xbox, what do you do? How far do you go past, okay, I'm going to play this, or maybe I'm going to launch maybe Skype on the far end.
Right, yeah.
And I'm going to go into a store. I'm not trying to get to a desktop. I'm not trying to launch a Word document. I really don't have to worry about a control panel after my initial Xbox setup.
I've been using a bit of Internet Explorer lately. Surprisingly.
Yeah. So
who are you?
Wait. Well, there's these video sites.
They also released SkyDrive today for Xbox.
Oh wait.
So that's something I want to play around.
To my next year.
So yeah, but so Chilla's got a point, and it goes back to that touch interface, even Xbox interface.
Well, even Xbox, you have it's a different interface.
It's a whole different thing, and even when you use an Xbox, you're used to the sort of interface.
Can I throw in also? There is an option with the Xbox. I don't know how many people. I don't think anybody here has. I know Chachi does. You have the hand swipe motion of the Kinect.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
So that touch thing kind of still applies.
It's built into Samsung TVs.
You also have you can control it like a touchpad with an Android device too.
Yeah, on an iPhone too.
Yeah.
I've been using
Smart
Smart Glass.
With your voice, you can say Xbox, search Harry Potter.
Xbox, Bing, Harry Potter.
Which are all fantastic examples of people desperately trying to change a user interface and user experience that is not inherently broken.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to toy with new technologies, which is good because eventually somebody's going to throw something against the wall and it's going to stick. But so to Chilla's point about like touchscreen interfaces in the Windows 8 interface, like the whole Xbox thing translates really well because you're already used to using up, down, left, right, A, B, C, D, trigger. Like this is what you're used to using, so it makes sense to build an interface around that.
We've had several years on the Xbox to figure it out, right?
Exactly. You've already had your training experience.
Does anybody remember when the Xbox had blades?
Oh yeah,
that was their menu.
The blade.
Wow, yeah.
Popped up the side of the screen.
Yeah. Then they moved
the settings screen, or when you hit start, it's kind of takes you back to the old Blade days.
A little bit, yeah.
You can go left to right.
I think I was just after the Blade days when they started doing more of this menu, like cross menu kind of system.
Right.
So which
is like PlayStation has. Right?
Yeah, but it's a little more interestingly done. And then they stole the avatars from the Mii's and Wii. They do a lot better job with it, let's be honest.
So what happens is Microsoft makes the decision that instead of gently easing our users into this concept of you're eventually going to end up with touch interfaces, which is, I'm starting to feel like I'm the old curmudgeon saying that like this will never happen. Like the whole Minority Report interfaces is people think they want it, but when they actually have it, they're going to be really angry with how sore their arms are.
Isn't it kind of happening though? Isn't it kind of happening on a small scale when we start doing it on our 10-inch iPad?
Well, I feel like
when we're doing it on our 11-inch.
What's happening is it's the desktop versus the mobile market. It's your desktop computer does not need to be a touch interface. Your tablet should be a touch interface.
I wish it was, though.
You think you wish it was.
I think I wish it was.
You should hang out in my studio for a week and you will no longer.
Well, how about if I just. That's right. I forget that Rob lives in the future in his studio.
I agree with Rob too, because I spend so much time, drawing, as an artist or as a designer. And I'm so good with the mouse versus I watch people who design with the trackpad, and it blows my mind because I can't stand using the trackpad even for just normal stuff.
I want a trackpad.
Versus people who use a Wacom tablet. So I think it's going to be a generational thing. What did you get comfortable with? And what did you train yourself on, and versus so maybe the kids who are growing up on iPads, they'll want their computers to be touchscreens.
But I don't think they're going to grow up on computers though. They're going to grow up on tablets. They're going to grow up on devices you can hold in your hand that make sense being touch interactives. Mm-hmm. They're not going to grow up on 42-inch displays that are mounted above their desk that they're going to be touching their desktop on.
That's my point. No, that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I want to be able to do everything on my computer over here like this in a touch fashion. I want to say I'm typing away, and instead of going over to my mouse, I just reach up and go bink. Yeah. And that's it. That's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So I just want to go boom. I want the ability that this display with this Wirecast thing, instead of me taking a mouse and going over here, I can go boom, 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 and to switch you guys shots. So just a little bit of application, not an everyday use. Just I want my mouse and my keyboard and my touchscreen. I want a third input device.
There's all these building blocks that have to fall into place for this to work. I feel like, although you might not say that Apple's making perfect decisions in this realm, I feel like they're making the better decision of the two between Microsoft
by not jumping ahead.
Right, because what Apple did, if you remember when what was a Snow Leopard was the first launch pad and Mission Control? Is that what that was?
I think that was Lion.
I
feel like that was Lion. Yeah.
Right.
That was our first iOS looking edition.
Right. So they introduced that, but they did not change the desktop. They didn't change your main user interface because ideally, they recognize the fact that not everybody's going to use that. I personally,
I gotta say, and I'm using it here on this MacBook. I love that I just kind of swipe from side to side, and it kind of works, right? Yeah. Like this, it switches. But when I'm on my Mac Mini upstairs with an actual mouse, I hate it so bad.
But at the same time, so Apple has the luxury of having users that are usually I don't know what the percentage is, but I imagine it's very high. People who are already well invested in their ecosystem. So somebody who's introduced to the Launchpad on a Mac is already familiar with the home screen on an iPad or any iOS device. So that metaphor of usability is already there. Mm-hmm. And chances are using a mouse is super kludgy if you're trying to use Launchpad. But Apple has also been very good at building in touchpad to the point where it's just shy of being a touchscreen.
That's kind of. And I think it gets to a point though. You have to be careful what you wish for, because we actually had this discussion today at work, and people were saying, "Well, just let me remote in from my tablet to a full-fledged desktop."
That doesn't work.
Not understanding that the UI on their desktop is not touch friendly.
Right. Mm-hmm. So what you were saying about Wirecast, Wirecast would be fantastic if you have a screen that's gigantic so you can actually touch all the buttons.
I tell you what, actually, kind of putting this in practice a few weeks ago, and it didn't really work because some other technical problems, like I would lose my connection or whatnot because Wi-Fi is not quite as reliable down here. But it was nice because I had this screen, and you look up Wirecast, you'll get the idea, you'll see the buttons, and I can make the buttons big enough. I just have it, so I have 6 buttons over here. I wish I had a camera. I might just grab this one. I don't know. I just have 8 buttons for each of these shots, and I could become a touch interface for the most part. The buttons are big enough for my fingers.
Could you production level edit video, remote it into your workstation from an iPad through LogMeIn?
The only reason I wouldn't is because how much Final Cut bogs down a system usually. Okay. I haven't tried it a whole lot, but again, yes, that precision editing, you lose a lot of.
The opportunity is there if you've ever used iMovie on an iPad.
I've used it on the phone. Yeah,
it's built for that. But if you can't just take the iMovie application, so it's basically Microsoft is saying we're going to try and force you on this, even though they don't have the ecosystem of users that are. Because I still have yet to see a Windows Mobile, whatever the heck, in the wild.
A phone?
Yes,
I've seen one.
One of those things.
Jenda has one.
Jenda always has the weird phone.
She always has the oddball phone.
We talked about.
She had the Palm.
Yeah, she had the.
She had a couple of Palms.
She had the Palm Pre that you could cut yourself with.
Yeah, she was shanking people in the parking lot with her Palm Pre.
So, long story short, Microsoft is trying to force a touch interface on people who do not have touch monitors because we haven't gotten there yet. Because it's not necessarily a good idea.
Isn't this Microsoft? Go ahead. Good.
It's your show, Sorg. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, it's your show. It's your show. You're the professional. You're the professional here. We're the amateurs.
I was in court. I was in a courtroom today, and this is the perfect example of who the Windows mobile interface caters to. I'm in court, and this woman comes in and sits next to me who's wearing some kind of god-awful perfume that just aggravated the hell out of my sinuses, and she has two things in her hand. She has a book that says How to Learn Computers and a Windows phone. I kid you not. And that's what it is. She was probably in her 60s, but I see her trying to type out something on her phone and having a hell of a time doing it.
So I mean, is this to the point where we've taken it used to be like I don't want it to break. I don't want my mother, my mother-in-law, whatever, to not break this thing and worry about it. Is the Windows phone that thing now? That this is the the thing, or is it the perceived thing that people like this are picking it up? Would you buy a Windows phone for your?
I mean,
for your loved ones.
I live in some kind of bubble, but if somebody comes to me and they are buying computers, like how to, what do you?
Telling you to get back in the camera.
No, I prefer to be slightly off.
It's artistic.
So, So if somebody comes to me and they're buying books like how to use a computer, if I want to make their life easy, I tell them to buy an iOS device.
Okay.
Because I mean, as much as for what I know about, for what I would like to think I understand about usability and predictable interface design and that kind of stuff, iOS is more intuitive to me. But
it makes more sense.
It makes more sense.
You like your corners rounded.
I like my corners rounded. I like my smooth aluminum. It's nice.
How could you break an iOS device too? Is I think the summary.
Yeah, it's
not impossible. I will tell you, I've gotten some calls. It's not impossible.
And there's plenty of confusion to be had with whether or not your stuff is in a photo stream or if it's in an iCloud. Or
that's where it starts to get difficult.
Syncing your device, it gets complicated.
Yeah.
But
I can't tell you that Microsoft's doing any better with that.
Off the bat, if somebody had never touched a computer before, I would feel much more comfortable passing them an iOS device than any kind of Windows whatever anything 8 thing. Just because I have yet to see really good form and polish in the stuff that they put out. I mean, they're going in a good direction, but it doesn't match it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into. I want to run too late into the Mayhem show, but I want to get into our predictions. First, I want to look at what we did last year, see how we did, how we stack up with it. So I tweeted a few of these out earlier. I know some of you here saw these. So let's go down the list. Well, first, last year, I declared this is going to be 2012 was going to be the year of the cord cutter, and Netflix is going to become another HBO-type station as well.
It's turning out to be like that.
Well, yeah, because they just picked up... what did they just pick up? They've just picked up Disney. Yeah, they got... It's a 2016 when Starz deal is up. They are picking up the Disney deal, and they already have a lot of back.
They already have Arrested Development.
They already at least have 2 and 3 of A Brave Little Toaster. Sorry, that's my mark. Aristocats, stuff like that. But yeah, they have Arrested Development, like you said,
and they're coming out with a new
House of Cards.
Yeah.
With
So what is no idea what is this?
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. What does this acquisition mean for people cutting the cord to be?
Well, it means I don't have to get a cable subscription to see Disney movies, for one thing.
You're saying you could have the HBO
I'm just taking the secondary part of it. I don't know about the...
So, hypothetically, you get HBO Go and you can now watch all the Disney content, is what you're saying? What is this?
No. What I mean is Netflix becomes, you have Starz, you have Showtime, you have HBO to find all those first-run movies. Yep. Netflix is now beside them.
Right.
So Netflix is now become this little streaming company over here.
Who acquired Disney?
Who acquired Disney?
Who got the Disney content?
Netflix got the Disney content.
Okay, I have somebody
starting in 2016. They're signed for it when Starz is done with it. Okay.
All right.
So you see. Okay. So now you get my.
We're all in the same. Yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
So,
which means they have Marvel and Lucasfilm, and
they already had Marvel. Avengers is going to be first run on there already.
They have Lucasfilm now, whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Whatever that means when that completes. So yeah, again, Marvel too. They already had a deal for Hunger Games and Avengers to pop up there. It's already got like Captain America and all that kind of stuff. So it's fractioning the field a little bit more. It's giving a little more strength to an option that doesn't involve cable whatsoever. I'm really happy with it. Prime keeps adding new content all the time. It just kind of seems like it's still a secondary Netflix.
Does it still kind of suck?
It does still kind of suck. You remember how you felt about Netflix about a year ago?
Yeah.
That's Amazon Prime right now.
Huh.
I don't know how you feel about Netflix right now, though.
Well, so Netflix, the only reason that Netflix works for me right now, because I've had a subscription to Netflix, even though I hate it for like a year. The interface is still awful.
Give it a good college try.
I'm trying really hard.
What are you watching it on?
I have watched every episode of Parks and Rec.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right? Mostly. So what broke my back is after downloading entirely legitimately episodes of things, as I've been entirely legitimately downloading things since, I don't know, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, actually. But I got a cease and desist for one episode of Parks and Rec. And I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to download any more episodes of Parks and Rec, but I could totally watch it on Netflix, so I'll give that a try.
So I'll take that for $8 a month. Why not?
So I'll take that for $8 a month. So they twisted my arm on that one. And so I'm also watching every episode of Top Gear again, because that's the thing I do. 30 Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And random documentaries, because their selection of movies is still awful. Because if I'm watching a series of something, like I just ran out of 30 Rock. I'm now up to on 30 Rock for Netflix, and I've already watched all of Parks and Rec, so I've run out of stupid things to watch on Netflix. And if
There's
I go
plenty more, dude.
Well, not plenty, like not good stupid things. That's still my hitch with Netflix. Is that the quality stuff is still unavailable.
See, I'm finding lots of stuff, but then again, I'm kind of looking at different stuff. Like I just lashed on to Ultimate Spider-Man got added.
Yeah,
the entire first season. You're not into the Marvel stuff. I'm into that. They're adding a lot of wrestling stuff on there, so it's hitting my demographic again, of course. But still, that's a lot of stuff. They just put up. What's the last batch? You got Netflix, right? Yeah. What was the last like thing that went up there that was released 3 months ago on DVD? Okay, never mind. But that's been the trend, right? Like you like it was on DVD and it was like, oh wait, 3 months. Oh, here it is on Netflix. I mean, that's been the thing. Sorry, LB's in here in the studio. He joined us here.
So I guess the whole question with the Netflix thing is, at what point do people get what used to be network fatigue, which is like, oh, I've got a subscription to ESPN and HBO and Showtime and all this stuff, and I'm subscribed to so many things. So at what point do people say, well, I've got Netflix for this and Hulu for that and whatever for this and whatever for that?
And I kind of have that too now, because but then again, I since I'm the person that sticks a computer iMac behind my television,
right,
so I can watch my Hulu.
And then with the Apple TV, there's a whole nother thing that comes out, because they're trying to work with the publishers to make a thing happen for TV content. So at what point do we all have 8 different online services we're subscribed to because we're frustrated with how crappy each one is, respectively?
Well, I mean, I think there's an understanding that you're not going to get everything from one thing. Do you get everything from paying for cable?
Than cable?
Is it still cheaper than cable? Yeah, it's still cheaper than cable.
Still cheaper than cable.
I'm still paying my price for this, which includes doing all this stuff online. You know, I still pay. I don't even pay for Hulu, because again, I put the iMac behind the TV instead of putting it through my
usability.
Xbox.
You want to turn on one thing and have everything available. That's it.
And that's okay. I've picked up all my subscriptions. They automatically charge my credit card. I just turn on my Xbox.
Right.
Your Xbox is the thing, and if it's not available on my Amazon Prime that I happen to get because I wanted 2-day shipping, it's not happens to be on Netflix, which I've had since God knows when.
Do you know how convoluted what you're saying sounds to like a 40-year-old woman or man?
Or even like a non-tech.
Just the bottom up. And
generally, non-tech people. Do you know how convoluted it sounds to have like 4 subscriptions to things and automatic payments? That's crazy talk.
Okay.
I know plenty of people who are just happy with Netflix. Like we're talking about like, I think really high for fine taste and whatever you're watching, but people who just need like that movie or that entertainment, Netflix is their answer, they're totally satisfied.
I go back to somebody like my father-in-law when he was staying here helping us with the cafe. He would sit there and watch God knows what on Netflix. I mean, not everybody, and that was it. He didn't need anything else.
You have the people that are the channel surfers that they don't stay on a show long enough on cable anyway to really matter. They don't care about their content. It's moving pictures and sound in front of them that can capture their.
Well, that's what it is
interest.
until somebody else tells you about something cool.
Yeah.
It's the social aspect that ruins that, where somebody else is talking about whatever show was on last night.
So all of us that don't have friends are good.
Right.
But you know what? Get a pair of rabbit ears and some kind of lame DVR device.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're too complicated.
Anyone has open air. Well, most people or live in an area that I know a lot of people that are using open air.
I gotta say though, I'm sure I could do more to remedy this problem, but I don't get Channel 4 in my living room.
You know, it's funny because they've always had really lousy transmissions. I think their transmitter used to be down in Elizabeth. I don't know where it is now, but I can tell you this: have you guys heard about Aereo?
Yeah.
8? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean that seems to be something that I think that, you know, and I won't make this the official prediction going into 2013, but it seems like that's something gain critical mass where you can pay, you know, a couple bucks a month and you'll be able to stream live network TV as opposed to, you know, what you can get. ESPN has an app where you can stream live ESPN, but I think that that's something that, you know, one of the networks you're going to start seeing the acquiesce and say, okay, we'll give in. We'll let Aereo become a thing, and I think that there's a market for that.
Mm-hmm. And again, to your kind of fatigue kind of situation, I think a lot of people, when they realize how much they're paying for cable and see, oh, I just need to pay for this. Well, I'm paying for internet anyway, so if I just do this, yes, it's complicated, but with times are tough kind of situations, that's when you start getting a little more inventive. The general everyday person that has no inkling, I'm glad to just switch my cable channels and flip through them. That's fine. But if it's somebody is, you know, you're seeing an advertisement for something like a Roku box and I can have all these things on here. The Roku box is pretty simple. I just need to sign up and do this thing. You're at least a little computer savvy if you're doing this in the first place.
So I think what this all comes down to is when there exists a thing, whether it be a Roku or an Apple set-top device, when there exists a thing that you turn on and it operates a lot more like the box we know of yesteryear, where all of this stuff is available because you're subscribed to it because somebody on the phone convinced you to buy it. But in more so you start up your Apple TV and it says if you want to watch these things, subscribe to X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. It's already attached to your iTunes account, so it's already charged. You don't have to enter any information besides your password and hit yes.
Mm-hmm. That's
when all this stuff is going to pick up. But as long as it remains that you have to go out and seek out the Hulus and the Netflixes and the HBO Goes and everything else, as long as you have to seek that stuff out, this whole cable cutting thing is still going to be too complicated for most people.
Yeah, and we're eking towards that, aren't we?
Yeah,
I mean they are getting easier. Things are easier. Getting onto those things on my Xbox is a lot easier than it was 1 year ago.
Right, and it can be perfectly fine for all of them to exist independently.
And we are on the front end of that.
As long as they integrate at some solo juncture, as long as they all integrate seamlessly. That's the other thing too, because each one of those has a different interface. Each one of those is another thing.
Yeah. So next down the list, Mr. Sager said that he predicted that the rise of HTML5 and interactivity in public places, and we had a long conversation about the Wendy's Freestyle Coke machine, which has popped up at Carmike theaters, by the way.
I saw that you had some problems with that, didn't you?
Did I?
Somebody did. I thought it was you, but I've seen that for about the past year. It's popped up around here. I think Wendy's is signing on to it, and Five Guys has signed on to it. And I got to tell you, it's a great concept, but I think that's more confusing than handing your 65-year-old mother an iPhone and saying, "Here, send me a text message." Is putting them in front of the machine and trying to figure out how to dispense a friggin' Coke. I think it's like when you send them the sheets in front of the MTO, they think that they're going to give away their bank information if they touch the wrong button.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Did we see more of it, though? Is he right in that case?
Well, yeah, Chipotle has it.
What's that? Chipotle has it?
I guess.
Yeah. So Coke's doing well with it. But
I've actually seen, and again, I mean, up here in the Boston area, I've seen actually a large uptick in the number of interactive, on bus shelters. They actually have touch screen giant displays where I know JetBlue is doing some sort of promotion where they were putting trivia questions up in which you could just touch the screen and play along. So I saw an uptick in that. I think you're going to see more interactive advertisements in supermarkets along that line. I think.
Of course, he said this about the Kinect. I know he's been involved with the Kinect project for a while, and they've just put up, and you'd like these, Rob. They put up these giant glass screens with a projector kind of behind them, and I guess they're going to be. I think they're going to be integrated with like a Kinect kind of situation, that the giant screen with the projector becomes a touch screen. And also cool, the audio is this little circle that's on the glass that turns the entire thing into a speaker.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like some of the stuff you guys work with. So.
Yeah, I mean, like,
but they just set up two of them. I mean, this is kind of like a demonstration piece for down ETI, the Tech Institute, and everything. But still, it's still that kind of growth.
It's another thing. Like, all of this interactive stuff is another thing that everybody wants, but they don't know why they want it. They're not necessarily solving a good problem.
It's gee whiz right now. It really is. It's like, oh, look at this thing, and you're seeing it more places.
The number of ridiculous proposals that I go through that are like, we have a poster somewhere and we want to make it interactive. Go. Like, that's it. That's all they say.
The Stanley Cup exhibit at the
Console.
At Console, which isn't new. They've had it for a couple years now, but really it doesn't do much. Like, I break it down as like, oh, they did this, and this comes up this way, and this comes up this way. That's like, okay, you have to do the art, but it wasn't really much to put that thing
The only
together.
reason that these things exist now is because when you take like an exhibit that you would build for a museum 5 years ago, and that material and design cost, and you compare that to what it costs now to put in a touch screen that gives you the ability to have dynamic content at the base. Like, for the dumbest reason ever to do this, you have dynamic content. So when somebody changes a legalese phrase on something, you can change it right then and there instead of having
We just made this discovery to see that the Brontosaurus actually had 6 toes. Go fix it.
Right, exactly. You no longer have to get that reprinted.
Versus scratch it
You call up your developer and you have them fix it really quick, and you load a new thumb drive image. Like, that's not a big deal. It's much faster, much quicker, and the technology is holding up, and it's dirt cheap. That's the only reason all of this stuff is becoming
standardized to a point.
And it's becoming the new poster. It's the new vinyl graphic. That's it.
I mean, look at I remember seeing this, years ago, going to New York City. You used to see the menus were big screens.
Right.
Now the Wendy's here in West Liberty and the offshoots of Pittsburgh are now the screens.
Yeah, it's trickle down technology.
And they're hot. They have one of those that's right beside you in the line. I'm standing by, and I'm like, wow.
They're very warm.
They're very warm. Like, they don't need, their heating bill just dropped their electricity bill. Holy crap. Although it is really funny when they blue screen one of the menus out in the drive-thru.
Yeah.
I asked them, like, your blue screen. They're like, yeah, we don't know what we're going to do about that.
Yeah, the other thing is that nobody's doing it very well.
No.
Still
well, it was the application at that point,
Yeah.
So. Exactly. So, here, real quick, let's roll down these predictions. Lokay, you predicted something happens to break down the digital divide and get broadband in more places. I hope I paraphrased that accurately.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Nebraska doesn't have internet yet, right?
I think there's two reasons why I came up with that. One, because I thought that maybe when you think about it, 2012 was an election year. I think that if you were able to connect some of these rural areas that may not have access to high speed internet, if you got more people online, I think that would work in the government's favor. And also, I was caught off guard, and that was the first thing I could pull out of my ass.
Okay, that works. All right, Norm predicted that. This is honest. Norm predicted the comeback of Microsoft, again I'm paraphrasing, in social, and that they were laying low in 2011. I think you actually said that they were going to come back in more ways than social, though. Does that sound right?
I kind of thought that they were just going to kind of bide their time. They're still a big player in so many regards. So, maybe the Surface is the first toe in the water for them. But I thought that they would come up with their own social network and that sort of thing. Yeah, so that didn't happen. But I don't think it's outside of the realm of them trying to snatch and grab what Google and Facebook and Twitter are doing.
And related to that last one, You predicted that Nebraska that gets the internet.
Yeah,
Still totally dark.
I can't verify.
We're in the dark on that one. Is that the word?
Yeah, it's totally dark. Totally dark. All right, what else we got here? Oh, and also I noticed I think Satsuma was first uttered on this episode.
Satsuma?
Satsuma, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
you at the end, you're like, go have a Satsuma, out of nowhere. I'm now I know what that is.
I meant to bring some,
they're
actually.
so damn good.
Yeah, I meant to bring some.
All right, Chachi predicted the death of Rim in Q2. You did the Showcase Showdown on him and predicted it in Q3.
Well, what did happen with Rim this year precisely?
They build hype for what's coming next year.
Yeah, they're still working on that BlackBerry 10.
Are they the ones who they did the horrible developers video? Where
No, you're thinking HP.
They gave out so many tablets, so many playbooks to anyone who said, I'm going to develop for BlackBerry. Pretty much, if you just say that, they're sending you a check for $10,000 and a playbook.
Ooh.
I see that come up all the time on different blogs that BlackBerry's running a new just a new advertising thing to get developers to come and just work for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just giving away everything. Can't be good for the bottom line.
They kind of have to at this point, don't they?
You know what you're forgetting, Mike?
What?
Let's see if my LTE can hold true here. Hang on.
Good test.
Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, wait, they did this, didn't they?
They did.
This is at the developer conference?
Yeah.
Wow. I think if I was a BlackBerry developer, like dropping the REO Speedwagon would be the thing for me to get up and leave.
Yeah, they did the REO Speedwagon. We're still loving you, or whatever.
Yeah, we're still loving you. It's like it's so desperate.
Which was basically a good sign. Where like everybody who took themselves seriously watched the video and was like, "Oh, so this is when I just stopped developing for Black." That's when this happens. Okay.
Thanks for the $10,000 check for the
clearing that up.
Playbook.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Thanks for the free playbook. I'm gonna use it as a coaster.
Howdy.
Later.
From the Mayhem Show, Riz.
Yes.
And well, first of all, LB sitting over here in the chair, he predicted the death of Google.
Just so we're clear, when we say LB, we are speaking of Lyndon B. Johnston.
Yes.
Yeah. I was right.
Riz, you predicted the death of Twitter. Which
we still have a few weeks left, Sorg.
And I know, Rob, you were.
What was I?
You had something. Oh, wait. What was it?
Was it something awesome?
You were just talking about how you were done with Twitter in general.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh well.
No, I think he meant the app.
He meant like the site. You meant like the site.
Oh yeah, I still don't use the site at all.
Yeah, like site app.
Tweetbot all the way.
Tweetbot or die, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. So, any comments on that, Riz?
No, I don't care.
Okay.
Actually, no. I mean, the death of Twitter coming soon with how they put the limit on how many users can sign up on third-party apps.
Yeah, they're making a lot of.
But they're still really successful because nobody cares.
Yeah,
It's gonna keep on
in the long run. I mean, how many of us are affected? How many of the
how many of the nerdy people who really care what application they're using are actually affected?
Not even the nerdy, because they've got the numbers because they have the people following Snooki. In the long run, that's who it is, and they don't give a crap about all this news that we're making big noise around.
Yep,
because they're not developers.
I feel like what's happening with Twitter is that it's actually settling into a lot less of the tweeting about your lunch complaint.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to sell she was probably like 63. I was able to sell a 63-year-old woman at the women's conference on signing up for Twitter after she spent the entire day bad-mouthing it.
I thought you were going to sell a 63-year-old woman.
Hey. But mostly it comes down to because she was like, I don't care about all these people tweeting about their lunch, which is everybody's complaint.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept like using that same metaphor over and over again.
I want to say, like, have you read it lately?
Well, I was like, well, do you read the newspaper? She was like, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, let's say that you get a whole group of people together who are interested in the things you're interested in, and they get to vet the articles that you want to read every day. And that's it. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to participate. But let's just say you open your Twitter and everybody that you're interested in, like an author wrote a book, you want to know when they publish a new article or something. You now know that. And she was like, I never thought about it.
These are the people that you're interested in, what they think and what they do.
Right, which is like when you just break down Twitter to the bare bones of it, it is the people you are interested in talking. That's it. So it's the publications, the companies, the people you're interested in talking. And I feel like it's gone past that perversion stage of like everybody who doesn't need a Twitter has a Twitter. People are starting to understand that there's a place for Twitter and there's a place for other things, and it's becoming a tool to the common man. It's always been a tool to us, but it's starting to make more sense as something you subscribe to. Something that is your news feed, something you wake up to, something you catch up with. Not something that you have to use every minute of every day, but something that you use to keep up to date with the things you care about.
Good point. And if I could jump in here and submit my prediction for 2013, is it too soon? I think it's going to be the year of the Twitter-Facebook war.
Okay.
Where there's going to be some serious play for one to really do something to the other. And I think Twitter is, kind of trying to climb the hill. Facebook obviously has the bigger base and a lot more in its favor at this point, but we've seen it with Instagram and other things that have been going on, and I think that this is just the start of what is really going to happen, because these networks are solidifying and they're really trying to compete with each other. So one is either going to buy the other or something's going to happen. I think the Twitter Facebook war 2013 lock and load.
And so kill each other. Google Plus wins.
Yeah, exactly. The Google Plus picks up the pieces with their communities and such.
Or my prediction for last year is Microsoft swoops in with some other thing and then boom, just cleans house. Yeah.
Rob, stop it. Rob, stop it. He's like rubbing the mic. I'm like, what is this rumbling?
What, you can't make a joke on this show? Is that what it is?
What is it? No, he's just rubbing the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Enough of that. And I think like the Instagram thing might be the first shot in that. Them pulling their support of showing up in the timeline. What was that?
Yeah, sniper fire.
Oh, okay.
The Instagram thing is
Facebook.
Hey,
the Facebook Twitter war is underway right now.
Wow.
Oh, there it goes.
Taking shell fire.
Twitter put out filters today.
Yeah, they did. So let's go around. The only other thing I have for the list we didn't touch on. We touched on a little bit of the Apple TV thing, of course. Well, a lot of the Apple TV thing in general. But you also said that Roku would die or get bought.
I don't know what tirade I was on when I said that.
You said that like Roku was the thing that they were doing it right, but they weren't big enough to go anywhere. So somebody else was going to figure out.
I mean,
okay.
I feel like they plateaued in the last year.
Okay.
They're no longer like, because this time last year it was like Roku, awesome, because they had just come out with the
my mom bought a Roku,
the little dongle thing, right?
My mom bought a Roku.
Yeah.
I think that goes to the like if she's gonna get it.
So it's not cool anymore. Is that what you're saying?
It
might not be cool anymore.
It's like you don't want to be on Facebook anymore.
But then at that same token, so like I feel like they were. I think what I was saying last year is they were in a position to do something awesome, in which they became that thing that I mentioned like 20 minutes ago. That is the focal point of all of these online subscription services that makes it easy.
But now they're just another one.
But now because they're just. Because of the decisions they made last year,
they compete with the TVs, with the Apple TVs, with the Xboxes and PlayStations and the Wii U's.
Right. So right now, Apple is in the same position that Roku was in realistically when you consider resources available. As far as like they are teetering on the edge of being that huge competitor that changes the way we think about online television from here on forward, or just like when they first came out with the Apple TV and people first saw the name Apple TV and they thought it was something that it didn't turn out to be. They're in that position where this new thing could be awesome, or it could just become another thing that your mom buys in a year.
Mom gets picked on so much on the show. All right, let's go around. All right, who's next? Chilla, you got a prediction?
I think next year is going to be the war over the living room. I think you're going to see Xbox really trying to win your, like you were talking about. You come home and you want all of your media in one place. You have your Xbox. I think TiVo's going to make a run at that. I think Apple loading apps onto their device will be step one in their movement towards some kind of set-top box. Google take another stab at it. They had the review. Then they had this little orb thing that they came out with that then got pulled off their store immediately, and now it's going to come back out again. You have Xbox looking at they're putting their glass product or their app on every device they possibly can. I think it's going to be, people are going to want to get your media attention not just on the go with a tablet device. It's now, okay, I had you all day, now how do I keep you in your living room? And as to Rob, what Rob was saying is, someone has to make it to a point where I click a button and it's there. And maybe I type in a user ID and password to purchase something, but it needs to be that simple. And Apple's proven that they could do it in the past with their iTunes library, and that's continued to expand this year. I think you're going to see whoever gets that video, access to that video content, even if it's in a Hulu type thing where it's a day later, that's going to be, I think, where technology companies are going to spend their time.
And kind of to that, Rob, if you live in the Apple TV, the Apple interface, don't you already kind of have that?
You sort of have that, but the iTunes library for TV is limited.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you have, if you use an Apple TV, and I don't have an Apple TV, so I'm making this up. If you use an Apple TV, you have the iTunes library, right? You have Netflix. You have YouTube.
Hulu. You have Hulu now.
You have Hulu and YouTube.
YouTube.
Right.
And that's it. No Amazon. I don't think yet.
Is there HBO Go?
No.
Sports providers?
No.
There's NHL, but you have to have a cable subscription.
Yeah, there's like the ridiculous NHL.
You have to subscribe to their pay-per-view package. You don't have to have a paid cable subscription for that or MLB, but same.
So but I mean, that's no difference than doing your sports packages in the long run. I mean, that's right. Really kind of goes one to one.
Sure, but there's still auxiliary things that are all in separate interfaces inside this little box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So
and they tried to redo that menu this year, and I don't think that worked out in their best interest.
No. Lokay.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to pull out your ass this year?
Well, something happened here in Massachusetts today that I think that's going to catch on. It's not going to be my prediction, but just to throw this out there, Amazon reached a deal with the state today where Amazon starting next year is going to take Massachusetts state sales tax on all purchases in the state of Massachusetts.
That's a big deal.
And I think they're already doing that in Pennsylvania.
Only some of the time.
Are they doing it now?
Oh, really? I know. I'm getting sales tax a lot more.
Yes, a lot more often, but not all.
I mean, the bottom line is they said, we'll create more jobs in Massachusetts, but that's all well and good. I was going through a couple things, but I think that this is the year that Facebook, or 2013 will be the year that Facebook, we start hearing that they're really serious about developing a phone. It hits the market and it's a massive failure.
So it's the next kin.
Yeah, I think come on, they missed the boat on it. I think that there may have been once a market for a Facebook phone, but this is not it. Why would you want a phone that was, I'm sure that it'll be powered by, maybe it'll be powered by Windows in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it'll be powered by Android in some way, shape, or form. I mean, the one thing is, Tim Cook did reach out to Mark Zuckerberg, gave him a free iPhone 5.
As if he couldn't afford it.
Yeah, I know. It's like
here, buddy. Let me help you out.
Heard you're having trouble with rent this month. Here's the phone.
Heard you're having trouble with that IPO. So, but I pick you.
And you know what? In Facebook's defense, they're now getting an app store. They're getting a marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it could move them into a position to have an OS per se.
And maybe, hypothetically, they'll then be able to develop an application that isn't the worst thing I've ever used.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because it'll be their phone's OS.
Yeah, it'll be their thing. Maybe that's their situation. They need their own sandbox to develop something that isn't awful.
They don't work at anybody else. They don't do well in other people's sandboxes.
They don't play well with others. They never have.
No.
You saw the movie.
Which is actually funny since they're so social.
Yes.
Can I just point out that the greatest app that I've used today, though? While I was participating in the AwesomeCast, I used the Domino's app to buy a pizza.
Nice.
So
Domino's has been at the forefront of pizza technology.
Yeah, I ordered Grubhub. I was introduced by Chick Chris Grubhub and ordered from this Mario's over on Green Tree.
Have you used eat24hours.com?
Eat24hours.com.
Yeah, man.
I'm looking that one up right now.
There's coupons. You get on their website. You get some coupons.
Oh, is the letters or the numbers?
EAT. The numbers 24.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Thank you, Google.
There you go.
See what this is about.
You can retell me not. There's coupons for free egg rolls.
Hungry. Free egg rolls. Oh,
but man. Domino's. Ever since Domino's had that amazing interface. Man. That was that would tell you when your pizza was being made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's still an amazing thing, which is really sad, but yeah.
And let's be honest, I will be honest with you, their pizza's actually pretty decent now. They've stepped up their game.
Those guys when they popped up on YouTube after that incident with those that video that popped up on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And then they used YouTube to make a statement.
They've done when you consider
they're there.
Their use of social media.
Yeah.
Ever since social media became a thing to use, Domino's, I will admit, has been one of the food retailers that has done a fantastic job.
The old school kind of
out of the companies that have been around that entire time.
Yeah, really. Verizon did really well with me.
Yeah,
I was complaining about something. They hit me up and said call us and and I still hate Verizon for the rest of
the other reasons.
Calling for any other reason is horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. But just calling for FiOS tech support was amazing.
Yeah.
It fixed the problem. It fixed problems I didn't even know I had. Great stuff.
So Jim Lokay's prediction for 2013 is pizza for everyone.
Oh.
Yeah.
There he is. There he is. He's got it right there. There's a sampling right there.
The one-eyed pizza man.
There you go. Wow. All right. To the hangout. Frank Fuzzwad, you're in there. Yeah, what's your prediction? I know you tweeted it earlier. I might have turned you down. I did turn you down. Sorry about that.
Yeah, because I was trying to speak up when Lokay was talking.
Sorry about that.
Facebook did come out with a phone like a year or two ago. It was an HTC phone running Android. I believe it was on AT&T, and it had a dedicated Facebook button that would automatically take you to the Facebook app.
That wasn't the Facebook phone, though. There was rumors about the Facebook phone, and that turned out to be something that wasn't actually legit.
Yeah, and there's word about them maybe having a Facebook OS kind of streamlined thing like in developing countries too. This is still kind of rumor.
Where we're talking about all of the Facebook apps that you know right now would be embedded applications on that phone.
Yeah. So
yeah. Not just Facebook running on a device that happens to have a Facebook button.
Yeah. So Frank, your prediction though?
My prediction is something that I really, really, from the deep down bottom of my heart, hope comes true. The Nexus Q, I think, is going to be the first Android set-top box that works.
That turns on consistently? Or?
Yeah. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, because everything that's come out for Android TV so far has been awful. But I think that it'll be the first one that is usable. I really hope that that's what it is, because that's the big thing that I want to see, make leaps and bounds. And even if the next version of Android, Keyline Pie, even if that's
what? I'm sorry, I haven't heard that yet.
Keyline Pie. I'm holding out for
That's what all the rumored names are pointing to.
It sounds like you're making fun of it, but it's not. It's completely what's going on.
Yeah. No, I could honestly see them using that to bridge between the phone and the tablet to the computer and the TV. I could see them bridging either one or both of those ways, using that and using the Nexus Q to be the hardware to back up that bridge.
I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself.
Oh, no, I want to hear Rob's on this one.
Yeah, it'll be this cute thing that vaguely works and nobody really cares about.
Yeah, but I'll be happy.
Usual.
All right.
Usual.
Okay.
All right, let's go over to the couch. Riz, you're here.
I'm here.
What do you think is going to happen in tech or the internet in 2013?
Well, my first prediction didn't work out here.
Twitter's still around.
Twitter's still around.
More or less.
There's still a few weeks left in the year.
Yeah.
So we still got that.
Mayan apocalypse next week.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
So if that happens, Riz and LB are right.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
But anyways, if 2013 does happen, if the Mayans are wrong, my prediction will be MySpace will return.
Well, MySpace is already on the up and up. Actually.
I know it's gonna surpass.
They are legitimately.
Seriously, we're in lab, and I had a student like looking at the new MySpace. It was like, oh, they're really gonna do something with it. So I'm like,
MySpace is basically Pinterest.
Yes.
Pinterest.
I've seen the preview of it. I'm just saying.
My problem is, MySpace has become, and that's Alexander Cars, who's been joining us a little bit with the Mayhem Show.
I was like, who's that voice?
Yeah, that's he's
been in there for a while. But it's really become like, have you used Google Plus on an iPad when you turn it long ways? It's become that. Because that's that left to right scrollable kind of
become Metro.
Yeah, it's become Metro. Everybody's becoming Metro / Pinterest in some way.
Dressing really well.
Yeah, okay.
I'm more interested in seeing what they actually do with the musicians, because that's what MySpace was all about when it started.
Yeah, and they've been more kind of media and TV too, right? So. So exactly. Well, while you got there, Alexander Cars, what's your prediction? Since we have you in here.
Or Alexander.
Kringle.
Like one of the big things I was thinking about was we were just joking around about how Facebook doesn't like to play well with others, and we've kind of seen that like they've started to actually work with more stuff. For example, like what is it? Oh, I don't like just like the fact that. Well, I guess one of the big things this past year was the fact that all the social networks have kind of integrated with each other. You know. Like, you can now post something on Twitter and it goes on Facebook and MySpace. You know, it's all kind of jumbled together. I honestly think that come 2013, it's going to come to the point where there's going to be one company where you just post and it just goes into everything. But eventually it goes into the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure.
I'm totally messing with you. No.
Oh my god.
So you're looking at that. There's kind of like a centralized place that we socialize that just kind of links to all these things.
The internet? I think you're talking about the internet.
I mean, we do have services like this, but what's that?
I think it's going to become self-aware. I'm just saying. I think
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a prediction. Okay.
Skynet. He's predicting Skynet.
He's predicting Skynet.
This is the second year that Skynet has been predicted in some shape.
It's like every year. You know. I know the first year it was.
Okay.
So, Rob, hey.
Hi.
What do you want?
What do I want?
What do you want? What's on your wish list for 2013?
Kind of have to pee a little bit. I have a prediction.
Okay.
It won't necessarily the end game of this prediction won't necessarily happen in 2013, and there's a large amount of wishful thinking in this. But in 2013, the litigation between Samsung and Apple will continue.
Yeah.
Because that case is not over; it was appealed, and the rulings keep changing. So what do you do? What? Somebody just score a foul in soccer? What just
calling an audible?
So
just keep going.
So the litigation is still going, and it's still I'm pretty sure it's still in the state appeals court of Northern California, maybe. They have not brought it up to any larger courts yet. So my prediction is that throughout the year, this case will be ongoing, and it's going to point out, like many of things have pointed out over the last 3 years, the problems with the software patent system and inherently the U.S. patent system. And eventually this will be appealed to the Supreme Court if it gets brought up enough, which is going to take forever. But in my hypothetical long-term prediction, the overturning of the patent law specifically applied to software as we currently know it, and specifically as applied to interface design on devices as we currently know it, will be forever changed by a Supreme Court decision on Apple versus Samsung.
That's going to be it. That's going to be the Brown versus education of patents.
Right. Yes,
right?
I mean,
right?
to kind of.
I mean, it's going to be the Roe versus Wade of patents.
Right.
It's going to be the defining case.
I really like the idea of many years down the line we don't have all of these stupid problems we currently have with software patent.
How much money is being wasted at this point?
A lot. I really like the idea. At some point, we will say like, "Hey, remember when software patents were so stupid that they prevented anybody from innovating in any sphere of anything ever? And wasn't that funny? And thank God that Apple and Samsung fought it out for 5 years for Apple versus Samsung to create the conditions that we know today that promote the innovation in software and design." So there you go.
All right. DJ Lunchbox joins us on the couch for you guys on audio.
Yes.
I wanted you to get your prediction in here.
Well, last year I went out on a limb.
Yep.
I think I was already drunk by the time that I made
Judging by how the Mayhem show started, yes.
Yes. I want to be a little safer this year.
Okay.
I've seen the trend of the USB chargers and connectors for cell phones. Like all the cell phones except for the iPhone, they went from like mini USB to micro USB. They're going to need something new to charge people for, so they're going to come up with a new connector just like Apple did.
Well, I mean, I guess if they come up with a reason to sync devices over high speed, then you need a USB 3.0 connector.
Yeah, so they're going
USB
to need an update
3.0 micro. But you can still use the same general architectures and things.
They'll find a reason. I mean, really, couldn't we just use...
Unless the Apple Lightning connector paves the way for multi-directional cables, which is what they've got there. So then all of the cables henceforth become this really microscopic tiny thing that's built really well out of a good metal that is dynamically assigning pins and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing is I think they're going to release the iPhone 6 and they're not going to call it the iPhone 6.
It's the iPhone 6.
Yeah, iPhone 6.
I'm the addendum to all of his predictions.
I guess am I it?
You're in.
Chat room. Please drop in chat room any tech predictions you may have right now. I don't know if you had them before. I can't scroll up to find everything.
Alexander Cars is calling out legit wireless charging. Pro tip: Tesla came out with wireless charging like 100 years ago. That's not getting any better.
No. It's not. It hasn't been consumerized, really, has it?
Yeah.
And they killed elephants with it.
Yes, they did.
Look it up. Yeah, Bobby F. J. Town says his prediction, there will be an NFL Red Zone app on Xbox Live for the next season. Flan will also be... Flan will also be an Android OS.
I mean, yeah.
After Key Lime Pie, I believe it.
Key Lime Pie.
Yeah. Disney buys Nintendo. Ooh. There's a lot of IP there. There's a lot of IP there.
Yeah.
That could be...
That's weird. That's kind of a... They've been having an awkward handshake for like a decade now.
Yeah, Epic Mickey.
Yeah.
What else?
Nintendo and Disney have sweaty palms all over each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Yeah, because Disney's been doing Nintendo things. Nintendo's been doing Disney things.
A little bit.
Yeah, they kind of work together.
Well, but they're kind of the same thing. Mario, Mickey Mouse, I mean, really.
And, so... Disney bought Lucas,
and
right?
Disney is like fast purchasing
Disney bought
all
Lucas.
of our... Yeah.
Lucas is also Nintendo.
No.
Under Nintendo.
No.
Well, there are games for LucasArts produced.
Well, it's for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just building up the cash crop that they're putting together here.
It'd be nice to have some decent Marvel video games. On the whole, they suck.
Right.
Iron Man 1
that actually
and 2
makes a
and
good
4
amount of
and
sense.
Captain America, they're just awful.
I don't know if the cash flow or the intellectual decisions are there, but makes a lot of sense. If Disney were to acquire Nintendo, they would acquire a gaming division that could capitalize on all of the stuff that they own.
Yeah, but really, Nintendo, have they been good at capitalizing on their own IP lately?
Well,
I mean, that's kind of arguable.
Everybody's got a price tag. And
That's true.
Yeah.
So, but we can actually get a good Mario movie out of it.
Miyamoto's got to give up eventually.
He's only got so long.
Miyamoto is the Steve Jobs of Nintendo. Eventually, he's going to leave, and they're going to get bought by Disney.
Oh, the Wreck-It Ralph. Bobby's saying, and I don't know if this is true or not. He says they just announced Mario is going to be in Wreck-It Ralph 2. There was that. Because Bowser was in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. That's
a bunch of other people,
it's
but
all
still
very incestual.
But still, Google Chrome on Xbox and PS3. No. Definitely not on Xbox. I'm telling you right now.
You're gonna see Opera on Xbox before you see Chrome. Remember Opera?
I don't think it'll happen. But if
who's laughing so hard? I can't tell. Somebody was giggling in the background.
Somewhere. I don't know where it came from.
I don't think it'll happen, but I would love to see any kind of Flash support or just better video support in the browsers on like 360 or.
It is PS3. Funny that it's the illegal and questionable content that does work on the 360 Internet Explorer.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say no Flash support whatsoever, but actual support of HTML. HTML5 embedded video because Flash doesn't make
actually it does a little bit, I think, because
more. I mean, like not just pretending.
Somebody tell me what Dailymotion is using because it works.
I don't know.
On Internet Explorer.
Probably HTML5.
I mean, it's to the point where it needs to at least work as well as like your iPhone does when it comes across a video on the web, right? Because that works. I don't understand why that doesn't work in Internet Explorer.
That's QuickTime playing in HTML5 code.
It's QuickTime.
Yeah. QuickTime makes all the magic happen. That's why when it loads, you still see that big queue.
That's. I thought that was just the player, but I guess you're right there, Luigi. What the hell? Amazon will create their own shipping division. Wait, don't they?
Oh! I have another. I forgot I had a double header. My other prediction. So this year, Amazon announced that their goalpost is in providing same day delivery.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction for 2013 is that this is not going to be a far off tech prediction that we're used to, where they're like, in 5 years. I think same day delivery from Amazon is going to start popping up within the sex.
See what you did? See what you did?
You broke the.
What will they be delivering, Rob?
Little this, little that.
A little bit of joy. In the next 6 months, you will see Amazon same day delivery popping up in major cities. Like major cities. Probably starting in like the San Fran, Los Angeles sort of areas.
This isn't. I don't know if this is a prediction more than a personal resolution. I am kind of embarking on an experiment, so I don't have to leave my house to go buy things.
Ooh.
As in, I've started buying shampoo on Amazon.
I've done that. Yeah.
The dog food's almost out, so instead of making that trip to Dollar General where I end up spending far more than I really intended to, I'm going to get my dog food.
Yeah.
On there. I just renewed Prime for the year.
Yeah.
I mean, just like I am tired of. I mean, I'm very time crunched.
Yeah.
As you look around my house, I'm very time crunched.
And Prime is so cheap.
And it's like
what? Whose Android is talking to them?
It's just one of those deals where it's like, you know what? Why don't we? I want to apply this new technology, which is oddly old technology,
right.
And you know, kind of become autonomous from going to Walmart, from going to basically anything I would need. I'm hoping that I can do between this little marketplace at the top of the hill, this IGA, and the Coons down the street. You know. And I'm patronizing my locals.
Yeah.
But all the general, oh God, I needed all this stuff comes subscriptions that you can subscribe. Say, okay, does it take about 2-3 weeks for my dogs to go through that dog food? I'll just subscribe, and a new bag shows up, and okay, you know. I mean, that seems so good. I'll never run out of paper towels again. Oh, I gotta go do that thing. Oh, I went to the grocery store, but I forgot to get that thing.
This is one of those.
I look in the fridge. Easy. I see I'm out of not milk, but I see I'm out of I don't know, barbecue sauce. I pull out my phone, boom, and I get it in 2 days.
This is one of those things that has approached the point in which we've all used Prime enough consistently for the last couple years that we know that it works, and it works
been amazing.
all the time.
Like, oh, I need a doohickey because this thing, I was having problems at the beginning. I was like, oh, this doohickey just went bad.
Yeah.
I can get one in 2 days.
You can get one in 2 days.
Oh, crap, I need to get one of those adapters for the shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, it's more than 2 days. Go order it.
I made a joke on Twitter 2 days ago, which was, if it's not on Amazon Prime, you're not getting it for Christmas. Don't kid yourself.
I'm at that point where that's happening right now because I'm looking. It's like, oh crap, I didn't do any of that stuff yet.
Yeah, because
Thank God for 2 days.
So in all the tech stuff, it gets polished and polished and polished until that one inherently broken thing becomes this giant sore. And the giant sore on e-retail is how entirely unpredictable shopping and shipping can be from site to site, where you buy from this place and it's $6 ground shipping and you might see it in a week and a half. You buy from Monoprice and even though it's coming from California, UPS ground, you're going to see it in 4 days in Pennsylvania. Or, no matter what I buy from Amazon, I click the little Amazon Prime checkbox, it's here in 2 days, or tomorrow if I want to pay $4.
Or whenever, if it's not a rush, and they give you $1 for Amazon Instant Video.
Yeah, and so...
That's been an interesting thing that popped up.
So, I mean, especially with all of the stuff that I have to buy for work with, like, short deadlines and stuff like that, you could mark that up as much as you want to. The fact that it's actually guaranteed, and I don't have to translate your website to figure out what your processing time is and whether or not I can trust you, that alone is worth so much money that I can go to Amazon and just be like, no, it's on Prime. We're good.
I know that a lot of my equipment for what I do is on B&H, but I also know that B&H can take their sweet damn time, and I know they have a lot of Jewish holidays that they're not freaking open.
Right, yeah.
And we've been stuck with that.
Yeah.
So B&H is off the list, and that is the go-to. You dealt with some camera equipment. Have you gotten that giant catalog that comes every 6 months?
I love that catalog.
Actually, every 3 months and stuff.
Yeah. Right
in the recycling bin.
Exactly.
Because
whenever I buy anything, I will look on Amazon. If I can't find it on Amazon, I'll look somewhere else for maybe 5 minutes, and then I go back to Amazon and I try really hard.
Yeah, it's exactly it. That's exactly it. There was like, I'm looking for a keyboard for an iPad 1. There's like 2 options. Like, that's good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So I guess that's my prediction. Is that
you're going to start shopping on the internet?
Is that I'm going to shop
on Amazon?
I want to use the internet, Rob. I'm going to use the internet. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to throw out another one about cord cutting because I feel like it's the curb is there.
It's still
but it's going to be
somebody's got to do something really right, and then it'll actually happen.
Okay, this is a weird anti-prediction. I don't expect anything. I don't expect Apple to do anything exciting. I don't expect Microsoft to do anything exciting other than the big change they already made. It has to be somebody else. It has to be one of the not big players are going to pop up if something interesting is going to happen. I think everything is on its curve. Like the cord cutting curve is happening. Right, yep. The whatever's happening with Roku is happening. iPads are growing at its exponential rate. Android is catching up at its exponential rate. Like everything's on a curve. Nothing I don't see. I don't see anything. I'm racking my brain to see what's the big thing that's going to change.
Yeah.
I think all the big changing things have happened. I think it's the year like everybody realizes like they've been. We talked about Occupy last year. It's going to be, we see more Occupies. We see more this. We see more grandmas using an Apple TV and cutting the cord. I think it's just this is the time where everybody's going to catch up with all the change that's happened, and I can't really put an outlook out for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, because as we talk about,
I expect a really boring year.
Right. Eventually, there will have to be Amazon cannot sit on top forever.
Yeah.
Apple cannot always be the only computer manufacturer that is mass produced that has a good sense of detail.
Because then they become as boring and homogenized as the cable industries and the entertainment industries that were. So let's get away from this.
As much as there is competition, Apple caters to a very specific kind of person, and they can't always be the ones who do that. There has to be somebody else eventually, and there will be another retailer on the internet that has figured out that, hey, you know what? Crack some deals with FedEx and UPS, offer same-day delivery. That's where the money is.
Oh, somebody reminded me of something, though. Ouya versus Steam console will be the real console war.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't see it. Nope. The game Newell actually announced
it'll be a sub-console.
It will be a sub-console war. Yeah, it'll be an interesting footnote. I would be really surprised. I'm really excited personally, but again, it's kind of like I'm excited about the Steam box, like we're excited about Roku's and Xbox Live and the cord kind of thing.
I think the Ouya is a cute thing. I think.
Oh, Sleepy Robot. Sorry.
Dear.
Sleepy Robot.
The Ouya is a cute thing, but like I said, it's just another mobile platform, and I think the Steam console is cool, but it's not a big deal.
I got a prediction. The Ouya will be better than the gaming Android tablet that GameStop just put out.
Whatever that is, I'm sure.
Yes.
It's not.
We were talking a lot of games when you weren't on, so
okay.
There's that. Yeah. All right, with that, guys, I think everybody got their predictions in.
When did we start the show?
A while ago.
It's been a while.
So with that, Jim Lokay, what do you want to plug? What can you plug that we can see here in Pittsburgh?
Oh, what can I plug that you can see? I guess.
Hang on, adjust your pants.
Wow. Which is not dead.
And have you been dodging any snow lately?
You know what? We haven't had any snow up here at all. I mean, after the incident last year where I almost was killed on live TV. Oh, you know what, guys? I didn't say, but unfortunately, I did get to wade into the ocean during Hurricane Sandy. Oh. And we framed the shot where it looked like I was about 3 feet deep in water, but it was really only about 6 inches deep.
Nice.
But, so you guys missed the chance to see me swept away by floodwater. But yeah, I'm obviously on Twitter at Lokay, and stay tuned.
What's the station again you're at up there? If anybody wants to look you up,
WCVB.
Excellent.
WKRP, Cincinnati.
Yeah, WKRP.
His boss is named Fish. The Fish.
That's right.
So odd.
I haven't seen that in a while.
Hey, can I ask one thing? When did Will become respectable looking?
Well, I don't think you know that. Did you know Will's in the old timey newspaper business?
Yes. I saw Will when I was back in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago.
I'm wearing my Newsies hat.
Newsies.
Yeah, I wore a suit to work one day, and my boss is like, "That's good. Do that from now on."
What were you wearing? Like flip flops,
khakis.
Okay.
It was just khakis and Hawaiian shirts.
He's got a lapel pin.
I've got it. It's
Pittsburgh top workplaces.
Top workplaces. I am one of Pittsburgh's top workplaces.
DJ Lunchbox is at DJ Lunchbox. He'll be joining us here shortly on the Wrestling Mayhem Show.
That's right. I'd like to plug the Wrestling Mayhem Show, which is coming up next.
Riz is on that show too. He's eating pizza right now. So, wait. Here we got him. There he is. There he is on the wide shot. Hi.
Awkward pizza.
InsertCoinToBegin.com. They kind of do things.
You know, I just renewed InsertToBegin.com.
Rob, you're at Rob G. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah?
Rob J. DLC.
Yes.
The J throws me.
At ROBJDLC.
The J is for juicy.
At Ion_tank.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still working on that trademark.
So everybody follow him to help. Right?
Yeah.
Does that do anything for you?
No, it doesn't do anything at all. It's.
What if I at you? Man, you're the real deal.
Yeah. ROBJDLC.com, ROBJDLC on Twitter. Also, ROBJDLC on Pinterest, though I've never posted anything and I will never log in.
Ooh, you can always repin the AwesomeCast. We're putting that on there now. I actually got a lot of likes from the Mayhem Show one where it was my face on Ryback's body.
Shens.robjdlc.com is the Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't reinvigorate my MySpace page yet. Facebook.com/ROBJDLC. I can't remember anything else.
All right.
It's on the internet.
It's all linked on your .com, isn't it?
Yeah, my internets aren't hard to find.
No.
I'm the only one of me, so.
All right. Chilla. He's at Chilla on the Twitters.
Hey, how's it going? I got nothing to plug.
Well, then go to Amazon.com and you can take care of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I hear they're doing prime pregnancy. You get kids in
Frank is at Fuzzwad on the Twitters.
Yep.
Also at InsertCoinToBegin.com, sir.
Yep.
Any parting words?
That's it. Watch Let's Play.
Alex Cars, he has a wrestling site.
I have a wrestling site, a music site, and I'm also a graphic designer. And if you need any help with your WordPress site, give me a holler on the internet.
Where's that at for the audio listeners?
I don't know. I got so much. You can just email me at awcars. That's KAHRS @gmail.com or Project Newman.
Project Newman.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff. It's hard to pronounce, but yeah, just find me on Facebook. Even just message me on Facebook.
Go look them up. And, of course, I'm over at Sorgatron on the Twitters, MikeSorg.com. Hey, shout out to, I guess, I guess Lokay had to leave.
Yeah, Norm and Lokay dropped.
Yeah, well, Norm had to go somewhere, so check out Mr. Derby and all that. And check out everything, AwesomeCast.com, SorgatronMedia.com. Again, we're taking a hiatus for the next few weeks. We should return the week after New Year's with some stuff. It should be a regular night, but we might be doing something with the Mayhem show that may junk that up a little bit. We're working on details for that. But you can still talk tech. Anything happens, usually slows up this time of year anyways. We'll be back just in time for CES. So we can look at all those touch screens and tablets and TVs that we'll never see in market.
I'm going to have a thing.
You're going to have a thing? What's that, Rob?
Yes, God. There's going to be a thing I'm putting on the internet that's going to blow your mind. If you haven't been to my studio, it's going to blow your mind. You know what I'm talking about. You don't know that you know what I'm talking about, but you know what I'm talking about. When you see it,
is it the thing I'm not supposed to talk about?
Yes.
It's that thing?
It's one of the, it's that thing, but
it's going on the internet?
Christmas themed.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, not Christmas, holiday themed.
So that means you can do the thing. That means the thing came through.
I'm working on that.
Okay.
But good enough.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Speaking in code. With that, thanks everybody for joining us. This has been the last show of 2012. Thank you to our awesome chat room that's been rocking all year long. You've been our half-assed audience.
Really?
That's where I was going, apparently. I just connected the rest of the dots. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome rest of 2012. We'll see you next year.
Or not.
Good evening, AwesomeCast viewers. It's AJ. I just had some thoughts that I wanted to put into video form and send to Rob and Sorg and Chachi to get their opinions. The other day, T-Mobile announced that they're going to start selling Apple products. They did not come out and specifically say the iPhone. Everybody's reading iPhone. Because they didn't come out and just say iPhone, I don't see them selling the iPhone. I can see them moving iPads, no problem. But they did not specifically say iPhone. They would not confirm that they were selling the iPhone. And if you're going to go through the big rigmarole of announcing that you're selling Apple products, you should probably use the iPhone word somewhere in there. I could see them, and this goes back to what else the other things they were saying. This was all said during an investor meeting. They mentioned that they are going to start pushing people towards their value packages, and because nobody has T-Mobile except for Chachi and our friend Bobby, allow me to explain. Your classic cell phone plan is it's built around the idea that you have a set amount of minutes, a set amount of data, and a set amount of text messages. And those prices are set as a plan, and then they factor in the general cost of a cell phone and the subsidies therein into that monthly plan. Case in point, the iPhone, unlocked without a contract, is $650. Now, you may be wondering why I'm saying the words $650 when if you go to the store, it's $199. That's because every wireless company gives you a subsidy. It's factored into your contract. You never know it's there. But that's why you have to have a 2-year contract in order to buy a phone. What T-Mobile is doing is they're taking the phone piece off. And they're reducing the cost of their contracts by like $20 a month for those of you who don't bring a phone to the party. In this case, if you just go to T-Mobile, like let's say I have my Galaxy Nexus. It is unlocked. I can do whatever I want to with it. I could go to T-Mobile and say, hey, T-Mobile, I want a SIM card. Here's my money for a contract. And the contract is then not time-based. I could be, you basically get a month-to-month service from them, which is really interesting to think about when, dealing in the last 10 years of cell phone contracts being all like 2-year packages. So by having that, it allows the consumer to have more freedom to come and go as they please. So now you're wondering where I'm getting to here. If they wanted to sell an Apple product, they could sell an unlocked iPhone. straight up from Apple. They don't have to have any sort of carrier subsidies. You would buy the phone for $650 from T-Mobile, but then you would only be charged $20 less per month because you paid for the full cost of the device up front, and you're basically not paying T-Mobile back for the subsidy. If you don't want to do that, you can do what they have called an equipment installation plan, where basically they do the classic style of the contract where they take the remaining cost of the phone. So if it's a $650 phone and the cost that they sell it to you, basically your down payment of like $199, then you would have a $20 charge added to your bill every month that basically is paying for the rest of the cost of the phone. And it's over like 20 months. So the last 4 months of your contract are actually $20 cheaper because you don't have this equipment installation plan. I believe that is the future of cell phone contracts. I'm sure that AT&T and Verizon are sick of paying Apple these giant subsidies in hopes of building subscriber bases. Right now, you can go to Google and buy a Nexus 4, which is very similar to the Galaxy Nexus, and the Galaxy Nexus is a fantastic phone. You get all the updates from Google. You don't have to worry about the carrier blocking you. You just get the updates normally. I think that's the future of cell phones in the wireless market. The ability to I go to Apple, I buy an iPhone, and then I go to Verizon, I say, I want a contract. And if I don't like Verizon's service, I say, I'm done here at the end of the month. I'm going to go, and I call AT&T, and I go that way. That's the way this should go. It should not be involved in contracts or early termination fees or anything like that. It should be, I'm paying you for access to your network, just like your home machine does. You pay Comcast or Verizon or Time Warner access to the internet. They don't care what's on the other side. They don't care if it's an iPad, iPhone, wireless network, PC. They don't care. They just care that you're paying them money for access to the network, and you're basically leasing a modem from them. But other than that, that's your access point. That is the future. I think this is the future. If you tag in a Galaxy Nexus or a Nexus 4 and a T-Mobile contract versus an iPhone 5 and a T-Mobile contract of the same length, it's a $500 difference. That's huge. And now you get more people wanting to buy the phone from Google. I could see this forcing Apple's hand to lower their product costs slightly. I don't see them coming down and trying to beat Google on a low-cost thing, but I could see them saying, okay, well, if people are going to come directly to us, this is how much we're going to make this device. Clearly, they can make an iOS device for the $200 range. I mean, an iPod Touch is $200. So add in a wireless radio, you could probably get a good profit margin at $400 or $450. I would be interested in paying for an iPhone for $400 or $450 and saving $20 a month on my contract, and being able to, leave whenever I please. So that's just something that's my feeling. I wanted to pass it along to you guys. So let me know what you guys think. See you guys.